Football heads, how y'all doing out there? Look, I am a football fan. Yes, I'm a Cowboys fan, but at the end of the day, if I can help educate some people on football, I'm going to do that. That's one of the things that I wanted to do with my channel. And today, the video, we're going to really just discuss the gaps. We're going to discuss the numbering. We're going to discuss all of that type of stuff. That way, when you hear people say he filled the B gap, he filled the A gap, or he's lined up in the 3 technique, he's lined up in the 2I, you'll definitely understand. And really, it might be for younger players out there, people who are learning to play the running back position, linemen, young quarterbacks that are learning how to call protection. Like this right here, this video is for you so that you can actually understand it and have the visual source in front of you. So without any further ado, let me get into it. Okay, so we'll start with gaps. So gaps are pretty easy, man. They're pretty simple. It's like ABCs for real. So the A gap is between the guard and the center. The B gap is between the guard and the tackle. The C gap is between the tackle and the tight end. And then the D gap is right outside of the tight end. That's normally used for linebackers. I got to fill an A gap. I got to fill a B gap. I know that certain run plays, you can get stopped by, just filling the B gap or blitzing the B gap. So if you're a young linebacker out there, or if you're somebody that's just learning, that's all it really is, A, B, C, D, and just like it shows in the diagram. Okay, so this next diagram really gets into techniques of how the defensive lineman can line up, and this is really important for linemen or quarterbacks that are calling protection, or running backs if you're trying to figure out how the blocking scheme is going to go. So look, the 0 technique is lined up is a lineman that is right over top of the center. Then you have the 1 techniques, the 1 shades or whatever, that are in between the guard and the center. And then you have the 2I, which is, slightly inside the shoulder, the inside shoulder of the guards. You have the 2, which is right over top of the guards, and then so on. The 3 technique is right between the guard and the tackles. The 4 technique is right inside, on the inside shoulder of the tackles. And then you have the 5 techniques, which are lined up right outside of the tackles. Then the 6 is right over top of the tight ends, and then you have the like the 7s and the 9s. If you ever heard the term wide 9 really means that the defensive end is just lined up in the 9 technique. If you can look at this diagram right here, this is just showing the techniques on the inside, and notice that they're all even numbers. And then when you go heads up, they're all even numbers as well. Look, the 2 is right over top of the guard, the 4 is right over top of the tackle, and then the 6 is right over top of the tight end. And then when you go down and you see that the ones that are in between the positions, those are the odd numbers. So you see the 1 is, right in between the guard and the center. The 3 technique is right between the guard and the tackle. And then, the 5 technique, as I said before, is right outside, the tackle's shoulder. So, I mean, it's pretty simple. So I know that I've done a lot of videos, so I wanted everybody to understand when I say this guy's lined up in the 3, this guy's lined up in the 2, this guy's lined up in the 0, he's a nose guard. So that going forward, when I say these things, you understand it. And then if you're a young football player out there, you can understand. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show 2 clips, not clips actually, I'm going to show 2 still frames of the Cowboys and how they line up, and then I can point out exactly what positions and what techniques they're lined up in on the defensive line. Okay, so for the sake of learning, I'm going to leave names out of it, and we're going to go by numbers. So look, 96 is lined up right over top of the tackle on the left hand side, so he's head up. I would say that he is in a 4, and then number 95 is lined up right between the guard and the center. I would say he's in a 1, and then you have the other defensive lineman who's on the right hand side of number 95, and you see that he's lined up. He's on the outside shade, so we would say that he's in the 3 technique. And then 58, even though he's standing up, he's lined up in the 7 because he's on the outside shoulder of the tight end. So once you know these type of things, you can set up your run plays or your pass protections however you need to do it. But these are important things that linemen, quarterbacks, and running backs need to know, how the front line is lining up. Also, now let's talk about the backers and where they're lined up. Number 92 is lined up over the B gap. Then number 50 is lined up over the B gap. And 54 on the right hand side is lined up in the D gap. That's important for the quarterback. and the running back, for example. Like the running back, his pass protection might run from the from A to C gap or A to D gap. So, you know, if both of them come, you know, he has to take the guy in the A gap for the most part, because you always take the inside man. But it's important to know those type of things. Like if I'm a running back in pass protection, I'm responsible for this gap. So if this backer blitzes through this gap right here, I got it. So that's the importance of knowing your gaps. Okay, so now we're going to look at a different play, and you're going to see that number 90 is lined up right over top of the tight end on the left-hand side, so he's in the 6. And then you see number 98, who's lined up in the 3 technique because he's between the guard and the tackle there. Now we're looking at number 96, who's in the 1 technique. He's lined up on the outside shoulder of the center and in between the center and the guard. And then you see number 58, and see this one's tough right here because see, since there's no tight end right there, you have to use the imagination there, and it looks like he's in a wide 9 here, looking at how his hips and things like that are angled. Now if we go to the backers here, 54 is lined up in the B gap, but 50 it's a little bit tricky because he's lined up right over top of the guard here, so it looks like he might be responsible for both the A and the B gap here. So and that's pretty much it, man. This is the lineup right here, and these are how things look inside the box. If you're a lineman, you probably enjoy what you're seeing. If you're somebody that loves, you know, highlights and things like that, this probably ain't for you. But if you wanted to learn some football, man, this right here is the meat and potatoes of the game right here, and this is where the game is won. Hey guys, man, I just wanted to tell you guys I really appreciate everything. Right now we're at about 1,500 views a day on the channel, man. I just really appreciate all of the love. The goal is to try and get to 5,000 subs. We're really close right now, and really by the end of the year I'm trying to hit 1 million views, man. So if you could tell your friends about me, it would make my day. Just make sure you like, subscribe, comment, man, and turn on that notification bell, and I'm out. Peace.